Hello there. Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures. Welcome back to the shop, and welcome back to the Chicken Hawk Polaris Hawkeye. Got a couple things we're going to do today. One, we got to change the belt, and then secondly, the choke is stuck. Anyway, stick around. We're going to get into it. So like I just mentioned somewhere around 20 or 30 seconds ago, we've got to put a new belt on the Hawkeye. I managed to find one of the OEM Polaris Pure belts. And, well, the choke is stuck. And when I mean stuck, this is what I mean. It doesn't open. No matter how hard you wiggle on it and jiggle on it, it will not do the choke thing. Now, even though the choke doesn't want to come out, the quad ATV four-wheeler, it runs fine, but as you know, these carbureted Polaris, whatever the plural for Polaris is, the carbureted Polarises, they're cold-blooded. They don't like to start when they're cold without the choke, so it'll run just fine if you choke it with your hand on the intake, and then once it warms up a little bit, it runs just fine. But that's not, correct to have a choke that doesn't do choke things. So we're going to go ahead and get into this right now. For the belt, we're going to have to take off that footwell. I don't think the fender needs to come off to get the belt off. I think I've had that clutch cover off before in the past. However, to get to the carburetor, which is sort of there, the plastic does need to come off. And well, technically it doesn't absolutely have to come off. It just makes it a lot easier getting at that carburetor because we got to pull it out so we can access the choke where it enters the side of the carburetor, get it freed up, and then put it back together. I'm just going to go ahead and set y'all up. We start tearing this thing down. Yep. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Yep. Now the most awkward airbox lid in the world. Oh, that air filter is dirty. That's going to need a cleaning before it goes back in. Yep, that's fine. We've got a bunch of them plastic body rivets. Well, this one's missing parts of it. Huh. Okay. Somebody must have kicked it with their boot. Now, right down here in this hole in the rack here, there's a screw. You don't want to forget that and end up breaking something. And what else holds this on? Bolt there, and then one up through the bottom there, and there. Yep. And if I was guessing, I don't know how much of this quad is metric versus American. However, 10 millimeter is an exact fit for that. So, I think mostly these Hawkeyes, I could be wrong, but I do believe that these Hawkeyes were pretty much made in Japan. Like I said, I could be completely wrong with that assertion, statement, idea, if you will. Well, are you all the way out? I don't know. How come I'm not using the electric ratchet? I don't know that either. I prefer it. So I have no idea why I'm not using it. we should probably do that. Okay. Now, there we go. Okay, now what? We've got a bolt here, a bolt there, and then I think it does a pivot and out. Oh, there's a bolt here too. They look like more of the 10 millimeter varietal. Okay. Now what? This should be nearly loose, but the airbox is actually part of the rear fender assembly. So, oh, this has to come off too because it goes down through the, dang it, I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Oh, and these are a bugger because we've got exhaust here next to it, and I remember this. This is the not so fun part. I'll get you down here and show you what I'm on about. So you can see right here, this rack support goes right through the plastic right there. So you have to undo here. And this side's fine, not a problem. But this side has an exhaust in the way. And I do remember a way to get in there. The bolt is here on this side, and I think I just snuck a wrench kind of alongside there, and well, you know. I'm just going to go ahead and knock that out real quick, catch back up to you. All right, I got all that out. So we got the grab bar comes off now. And this is not, you know, this wasn't originally on the quad. I added this. I mean, it's a factory Polaris item, but I thought it was neat, so I added it. Found that on the eBay website. It was all of like 20 bucks or something. Anyway, and then now this should be able to just lift out as it has done. Now, the entire rear plastic is loose. Let's not forget to disconnect the brake and tail light. Yeah. Oh, why doesn't it want to? Here we go. There we go. That's disconnected. And then finally, we just have to loosen up the boot that connects all of this to the back of the carburetor, which is why it's just easier to go ahead and remember your words. And then after you've remembered your words, it's easier to just go ahead and take this rear plastic assembly out completely. Because while the carburetor's sitting literally right here, easy to get to, there's too much stuff around. But now this should just pull right out. Oh, and there's a breather hose here for, you know, crankcase ventilation. Pop that off, of course. We don't want to tear it. There we go. There we are. Lovely. Where am I going to put this now? Let's just put it over there. Okay. Plus we need to take the air filter out. As you can see, the air filter's there, and it's quite filthy. But I might have to pull this bracket just to get it out of the way. Let's just do that. 10 millimeter, a couple more 10 millimeters, and 2 on this side. Pull this bracket out that holds this bodywork in place, and it actually holds the seat in place too, but we'll take this out, and that should allow these things to move, and then we can get that carburetor out. And a screw there, which oddly is a Torx. And if I had to guess, it's going to be a Torx 25. Let's see. Oh yeah. Very good. Now this should come out as it has done, which then loosens these things up only slightly. Oh, what did I usually have to do here? Ooh, the gasoline doesn't smell too bad in there. Okay, if I can get this out, if I can remember how to get this out. Oh, I see. There we go. Let's put the cap back on the gas tank. I think I can just loosen the boot at the bottom and this will twist out of the way. Just a little bit. Now this should pivot back. Like that. Very good. And now there's enough room I can get at the carburetor, and this one can stay where it is. Yeah. I think let's just pull the carburetor loose. I don't think your view over there is very good. Let's correct that. There it goes. Okay. I've got the carburetor just kind of twisted around and out here so you can see it. This is the throttle cable, and here's the choke. I'm going to do my best to show this to you, but like I said, I can pull the choke cable, nothing happens. So we're just going to pull this boot back, and first we're going to try the 8mm wrench here to see if it'll break loose from the carburetor body here. Now, most of the time that doesn't happen, and as you can see, that didn't happen. So what I've done is I've made myself a special motorcycle carburetor choke tool. It's just a 12mm wrench that I've ground down and made thinner and put a hole in it. So now I can put that on there and you know, crack it loose, and there we go. Because otherwise any other normal wrench won't fit between that thing that's choke, whatever you call that, and the carburetor housing, and at best you might be able to get something on here and get no turns on it at all. So anyway, this seems to work pretty well. Quad Logic makes a tool for this, and it looks like a socket that's been cut open on the end, welded to a stick, and I almost bought it, but they're $30. You can get them on the Amazon website, and a lot of people complain about them breaking. All right, so now here's our choke. Whoops, now let's see. Oh, see, it's not stuck here. The cable itself is stuck. So now what? Well, now we need to find out what's going on with the cable. Well, I went ahead and just pulled the whole choke cable out, and there's a nasty kink right up here, right where it comes up to the top of the handlebars, and I'm wondering if that kink is what's doing it. I'm going to try to straighten that out. Does that do a thing? There we go. Well, it's moving now. It's not great, but at least it does work now. I don't have any actual cable lubricant, so I think I need to see if I can get this a little bit more unkinked. I mean, it's working now. The more we work it, the more it works. I think what I'm going to try to do is squirt just a little bit of motor oil, because that's what I have available, you know, down inside the cable somehow, and then maybe I can just work it back and forth and get it to, I don't know, we're going to try it. So what I've got here is just some 1540 diesel motor oil, and we're just going to See if we can get some down in the cable there. You know, those old 97, 98 500s, Captain leans a lot, Captain no brakes. The Speedo cables in those were a bit dry, and I used this to lube them up. Worked pretty dang well. I just got oil everywhere. All right. I don't really know if this is going to work. Maybe we hold it down here and work it. Well, I wonder if I should take this assembly off. Yeah, let's do that. Just pull the spring back, take this guy off, take the spring out. Let's take this piece off for no reason. There we go. Now, there we go. Now we're really working it down in there. And they do make cable lubricating tools. We don't have one of those. But I can tell you that feels way better. Perfect. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is not reassemble this end until I've routed this back through the, you know, the thing. Man, that's way better. That kink right there, that must have been it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and route this back through, and then we'll put the end back on it and put it back together. So putting this back together, you've got to first, oh, I just dropped the spring. Anyway, you've got to put this back on here first. And I like to tighten these up on each other a little bit. There we go. And now I need to find the spring because I have dropped it. So make sure the cable's pulled as far out as it can go. And then we're going to put the spring in its place. Kind of hold the spring back with our fingers. And then put that back on, and then there we are. And then now the choke. Yep. And that crunching you hear is just the spring at the end. That will go away once we put it back in the carburetor, which we'll do, you know, right now. Here it is. Make sure you seat that in. Push that up. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get that started, and that's only because, well, that thing inside is typically trying to push it one way or another. I'm just rambling. Just, you don't have to pay attention to me. Okay. There we go. Good enough. Put this back down over it. And then now does it work? Yep. Perfect. All right, so now we have the carburetor back in, sort of, you know, there. Put this piece of plastic, you know, back where it goes. A little bit of a fight getting it to hook up in here, but I think our choke cable is going to be in better condition now. So now we're going to get into the belt. For the belt, we have to take off the right rear wheel, left rear wheel, you know, driver's side, and the footwell. And I've already sort of done that because the tire's there instead of here. And then, of course, the footwell is over there instead of there. So now we just need to take all the bolts from around here off, and like everything else, looks like 10 millimeters. Okay, I'm just going to use a baby impact on it. Oh, that works lovely. There's a lot of them on here. Give it to me. Well, why? I've got all of them off. I sure do. Maybe it just needs to be persuaded a skosh. Maybe some gentle love taps. There it goes. All right. Now we can get a look at this very weird looking clutch that's here. And it is a weird clutch with rollers. They knock, they bang, but it does work. And then also we're getting a look at the filthy inside of the cover and a bearing right there that doesn't have any play in it. Seems okay. That bearing actually sits on this shaft. I'm going to go, before I put that cover back on, I'm going to probably vacuum it out. There is an O-ring. It's still there. That's fine. So we just need to get this belt off and put a new one on. Shouldn't be all that hard. All right, we should be able to just maybe walk this off as we turn it, maybe. Oh yeah. This belt has some stretch in it. Ow, that was just my finger. There we go. There's our old belt. It's got some cracks in it, but nothing bad. But I just believe it was starting to get a bit slippy. Where's our new belt? Oh, it's over here. Okay, is there any way to compare part numbers? Polaris 32-1108, 3211108. Oh, 3211108. Okay, so we have the same part number. Lovely. That's always nice when you get the right part. Now the question is, can we easily get this on? Or are we going to have issues with it like we did when we did the belt on Billy Badass over there? I don't know. Might have to spread this thing a little bit. Oh, it won't. Yep. Might have to take the bolt out, similar to the Arctic Cat, but we're going to see if we can just spin this on. We're pretty close. I think we might make it. Maybe. Maybe not. We're almost there. There we go. There we are. New belt installed. Well, that wasn't too bad. I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. I'm going to go blow out or clean out that clutch cover, and then we'll just get it mounted back up in here. All right, and for putting this back on, it's pretty much just the exact opposite of taking it off, minus all the racket. Do have to get that lined up on that bearing. There we go. And then I think you just give it a tap. There we go. So now we're all lined up. There's a couple of places where there are dowels to help you line it up, plus you have that bearing in the middle, so it's important that it goes on. And when you go to tap it back on, don't use anything big and heavy, just a little dead blow. That's all you need. All right. And I just realized I forgot the ones that have clips on them. That's great. Real quick, I'm going to show you something with this footwell that if you didn't notice, you might have broken something if you didn't notice when you went to take it apart. Let me show you. Inside the fender well, you've got a couple more of those body clips that go there, and you don't really see them from the other side. I'll show you. They sort of go there, and that sticks kind of in there like that. Not quite. It actually goes behind it like that, like that. But if you miss this when you go to take it out and it fights with you, you know, double check everything. Otherwise, you'll yank on it, you'll end up breaking some stuff that's fairly expensive to replace. You know, these OEM Polaris parts are not cheap, especially for a Hawkeye, because they only made these things for a few years. I'm just going to go ahead, get this fender well put back in. It's just more body clips, 2 bolts there with a nut on the bottom side. And I guess we'll start putting the rest of this thing back together. Hello, we are just putting it back together. As you can see, we've got plastic, box, rack, side panels, all that's put back on. We're just putting the air filter back in, and I did go ahead and clean the air filter up real nice, oiled it. Didn't bother to show you all that because I think I've done that before and there's nothing much to it. And now for the world's most awkward Airbox lid. Okay, is that right? Nope. 3 tabs down in the back. Okay, the clips in the front don't make sense. Okay. Okay, there's that one. Think a little, there we go. Lovely. And then finally, El Cedo. Perfect. Now we can see if it starts with the choke. Oh, well, the choke works, that's nice, but we got no juice. And the reason for that is we got no battery. The battery's sitting over there on a charger, and it's not doing well. So I think what I'm going to do is put the quad back on the ground, because it can go on the ground now. And I think I'm going to put the battery in it, and then probably jump it with another battery to make it run. That sounds like a plan. All right, so what I've got here is obviously the battery's back in. We've got it hooked up to some jumper cables. One of the old batteries out of the truck over there, the F350. You know, I had replaced the batteries in it not long after I bought it. One of the batteries had a dead cell. The other one was fine, so I kept the one that was fine. Anyway, now we can see we've got juice. A couple of pumps. Let's see if she's going to start. Oh, right away. I have never had an issue with this thing not wanting to start, except for when the battery's dead or when the choke is stuck and won't pull. Anyway, Well, that was successful. I think let's disconnect the jumper cables after it warms up, and we'll run it around the yard for a moment, make sure the belt's going to do belt things. Well, okay. Sure. Well, I mean, it works. Look, this thing's never been a powerhouse, but it seems like the new belt is helping it, I don't know, move quicker. Nothing like touching the reverse rev limiter. You hear them clutch rollers kaplank. And dead battery. Wonder if we could pull start it. Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't fun, but it did start with the backup recoil starter. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. You know, we did get the belt changed. That was nice. Unstuck the choke. Thankfully, it was not in the carburetor. It wasn't gummed up. It was just something with the cable. Got that fixed. Not too difficult. I still need to change out the switch on the handlebars that operates the LED light bar on the front. And it needs a battery. And then once we do those two things, put a battery in it, I think we're going to go ahead and let this thing go on down the dirt trail to another family. Listen, I thank all of you for watching today. I appreciate you hanging out with me. It was some fun. Not a lot of swear words today. Everything went pretty well, so that was nice. If you wouldn't mind, I would really love it if you go do the subscribe, watch the video, share the videos, like the video, make some comments, keep it nice. Anyway, all those things sure mean the world to me, and I think that's it. In the meantime, y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.